Folks, how are we doing? It's your boy Roar. We're here with Ren, Vincent's Tale, The Bedroom. The last Vincent's Tale that we looked through was very, very interesting. Man's not just making, he's not just making songs. As NF put it, am I making movies or music videos? That's all I gotta say about that. Let's just jump into it. Okay, so in the last video, if I remember right, he eventually got arrested. He was kind of just moving around, being a nuisance, and the cops got called and he got taken down. So. Okay, so it's Ren in the bedroom. Ooh, okay, I like that. That little sound design. Opening the door, you get to hear more of the music. He's not playing anything. But that's such a great little, I don't know. I don't even know what you would call it from a filmmaker standpoint, but to have that music be playing as you're entering into that space where right now he's not playing anything, I think that's just awesome. That's really, really cool. Man, we're going back to Buskin' Ren. I love that. Nice. Very aggressive tone, very... Oh, and there's Vincent van Gogh back there. There's the sunflowers. Okay. That strikes me. This sounds more like when you're having a moment as a guitarist to just kind of solo, and you're just adding all this emotion into it, so you play it in a way that sounds sharp and abrasive, dissonant in a lot of ways. But this is the beginning of the song, so that's very off-putting, just hearing it from that, viewpoint. That just makes me think, what emotion are we going to talk about if this is what's happening? It's just so dissonant and just, ugh. And now we're just completely unhinged.
Anger. Have you ever felt anger with nowhere to place it? Vincent felt cold, neglected and jaded, impotent, empathy castrated, look for...
Ooh, impotent, not being able to produce, for men. Empathy castrated, another facet of that, just having that area ripped off, like, oof, that's a lot of emotion right there. I love how he goes from that abrasive guitar to just anger. Have you ever felt anger with no place to play, with nowhere to place it? That immediately makes me think of Mr. Rogers. People have thought what they've wanted to about Mr. Rogers. I think most sane individuals, especially those who never watched him, are now finding his clips and realizing he was a gem of a human being that stood in front of the world of television that was becoming more and more abrasive, more rude and countercultural, aggressive and rude and disrespectful. And he decided, no, I am going to continue to produce something appropriate for children where they can feel heard and seen and loved. But he talked about to some of the people in the PBS Foundation when he was asking for a loan to be able to produce his show, that he literally didn't argue his position about being able to be a light for the kids in that day and age. He just read a poem from a kid that wrote it to him, and it said, what do you do with the bad that you feel the bad that's so bad you could bite. And it's just this question of like, what do you do with those feelings where you have no place to put it? And your body is telling you, we need a release right now. And if we don't know how to cope, if we don't know how to regulate correctly, it could turn into aggressive and inappropriate behavior.
Vincent felt cold, neglected and jaded, impotent, empathy castrated. Look for the new thing, always look for the new thing, but never look inside, never look within, without, above, below. Same thing. Wait, it gets deeper than that. The insane thing.
Okay, so looking inside, not looking inside, looking out to find the new thing to make you feel better, right? To satiate what's going on. Instead of looking inside, inward, upward, downward, because he says, wait, it gets deeper. That could mean religiously looking for some sort of structure, some sort of ideology to help you redirect your feelings and emotions instead of just turning to satiating it on consumerism, on attention from others, right? You can turn to a deity to be like, help me, let me give my negative emotions to you, help me be able to adjust correctly above and below, good things up here, bad things down here, basically speaking, if we want to go that route. But I love that, how he's just kind of throwing that in there and then being so cheeky with the audience. Wait, it gets better. Asking your audience to basically pay attention. It's what I love about people like Ren, where you are truly an artist's artist. You are not spelling things out for everybody. You are giving us your heart and your spirit, and that is what we love about it. So we're going to grab onto every single word, or at least I do, because I'm curious to see what's going on between those ears,
In, within, without, above, below, same thing. Wait, it gets deeper than that. The insane thing is sane men living in insane terrain, contort insane brains that are kind of deranged, strange, without the factor of cause and effect. Factually, the man's a casualty of constant neglect.
Okay. Demands a casualty of constant neglect. He was using a lot of wordplay right there. I think basically he was talking about how when you have this constant negativity affecting someone, you're going to produce negative behaviors and lifestyle choices and belief systems. If you've faced a lifetime of neglect your whole life, you're not going to want to reach out to people. That's not because of, whatever. It's because of the emotions that you have learned to hold in, the lack of relationships you've felt to be able to express those things and get care and consideration back from them. You're just going to hold on to that.
Start at the start. Vincent was born in the dark. Home birth to a mother, painted scars on her arm. Track march from the dragon, China white in the palm. Shooting up the birth canal, Vinny fell out like yarn.
And he fell out like yarn. Wow, that's interesting. Track marks, ride the dragon, China? I thought he said China in the palm. I thought it was something like some type of pill or drug native to that area was what she was taking. But point being is, he's not getting anything from mom. She's completely distant, turning to drugs. He's missing this maternal figure. And he's not even mentioning dad. I'm just going to assume dad is not even in the picture. People can act like the nuclear family doesn't mean anything. There's so many studies on the unique ways that a present mother and a present father actually benefit the kid in different ways. That doesn't mean that the balance is always perfect. I think there's a lot of ways that because my mom was more present than my dad, not to say he wasn't present, he just was working. But going from, the ways that a mom thinks to the ways that a dad thinks, there are some ways that I relate to some things more from my mom's perspective than my dad. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's keep going here.
Start at the start. Vincent was born in the...
Also playing the guitar on the 2 and 4 instead of bam, 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 Vincent, da, 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 da. He's doing it in a totally off sequence, but I love it though, because clearly he knows what he's doing. He knows the timing of it.
Factually, the man's a casualty of constant neglect. Let's start at the start. Vincent was born in the dark. Home birth to a mother, painted scars on her arm. Track march from the dragon, China white in the palm.
China white in the palm. Okay, I guess I'm just assuming that's, something related to of the Asian market with drugs.
Shooting up the birth canal, Vinny fell out like yarn.
Oh, shooting up the birth canal, Vinny fell out like yarn. Oh my gosh. And yarn, oh no. Oh no. That's that basically implies the oh my gosh, what is it called? The cord, the birth cord. That's a string, fell out like yarn. Oh my gosh. It could also mean that the birthing tube was tied around his neck, looped around him, like how you loop around yarn. Oh my gosh.
Tumbled out, himself unraveling, and that was the thing. Shooting up the birth canal, Vinny fell out like yarn. Tumbled out, himself unraveling, and that was the thing.
Himself unraveling, so unraveling like yarn, but also unraveling internally. Oh my gosh. That's incredible. And look at just this man's passion and how he carries himself in his music. It's not just him singing, it's in his whole face, his whole demeanor. This is incredible stuff.
Shooting up the birth canal, Vinny fell out like yarn. Tumbled out, himself unraveling, and that was the theme. Exceptionally average grade, sprayed with low self-esteem. From the fire to the frying pan, painting it green. When it's the cash, the...
Wait, so from the flame to the frying pan, so out of the frying pan into the fire means that you're getting thrown out of a situation that was, okay, into something very caustic, the fire. But out from the fire into the frying pan, I think that implies, because he was saying like he did okay with grades, but he had low self-esteem. So clearly he was able to move past what could very well just be a horribly traumatizing life where you had all those issues in the birth canal and with how you were born, to now actually being able to handle yourself in school, maybe just having low self-esteem. I love that analogy though. But then painting it green, I don't know what that means. Painting it green, maybe just painting it up like it's okay when it's not.
Spray with low self-esteem, from the fire to the frying pan, painting it green. When it's the cash that rules everything around me. Cream, get the money.
Oh, painting it green when the cash around me rules everything. Okay. So painting it green, trying to just, make it all about, well, also painting it green, making it all about the green, the money.
He weren't ever good at hustling, shitty jobs that he was dead and stocking, started a combustion, nothing. Pulled him out of debt, the debt collector's rushing to be stripping him of everything. Eventually, there's nothing. The cycle is a cycle for a psychopath on ice. The day repeats, the days are weeks, the weeks are most your life. When the day's done, it's the same one. It's a repeat, it's a rerun. A deja vu religion, a foreboding of a prison.
Oof. So that whole analogy of having all this, even though he did okay in school, there were all these things structurally with jobs, being able to upkeep things. He wasn't able to do that. So then there were these issues of, debt and being able to handle himself and those kinds of things, that it became a cycle. And that cycle turned into all these other negative, just how he analyzed that and basically explained it just was the same thing day after day. Not getting any better, just circling and circling and circling. So then he in a very really good way, I don't want to say wordy because that implies that you're using too many words. He just used more words to describe that concept, which from an artist standpoint is cool. Being able to use a lot of words to describe something, I think, is a beautiful thing when you know how to do it right. So that was really cool.
Rerun, a deja vu religion, a foreboding of a prison. Whole Britain, Great Britain, how Britannia ruled the wave. We started out with intentions and we ended up like slaves. Drink to kill the tension, but the drinks cost your wage. What helps you is what kills you when you're living to decay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you're just living to survive, nothing is there to really pull you out of it. And the things that you use to try and satiate become an addiction. The things that pull you out and soothe end up hurting you. It's a reality as old as time, and thinking too that horrible idea that we had good intentions, but now it's a prison. Now we're just hurting ourselves. It's so sad. It's so sad because a lot of people just lack the self-awareness of like, what can I do to get out of these situations? I saw that under the pillow. Oh, man. I just love how he takes his time to do this.
So it goes. Vinny starts to drink to let go. Soon he's drinking, cause when he don't drink, Every day is a day on death row. So we drink so we don't have to think. Mercy.
Dude.
Taste bittersweet. When the spirit that's inside of him sinks in his teeth.
Ooh, when the spirit inside of him sinks in its teeth. That could be a spirit of addiction, a spirit of this negativity. When it you're comfortable with it being there, but when it sinks in its teeth, that demands an action. That demands some satiation. I can only imagine where it goes, because clearly he was saying, you know, he's turned to drinking every single day as a way to help him. And it's just poisoning his viewpoint. He's just become a husk from that.
And the months turn over, May to October. More days pissed than the days he spent sober. Skin looks older, demeanor gets colder. Sledgehammer swing to that chip on your shoulder. A cold.
Ooh, sledgehammer swing to that chip on your shoulder. The negativity you feel. So sledgehammer swing could be life just taking it out anyway. You have this chip on your shoulder. You're trying to use it as a balance towards life because you're just being negative. But a circumstance can come up that just, even if you have this chip on your shoulder trying to be tough and keep yourself okay, it just takes you out anyway. That could be health issues. It could be, you know, another loss in your life, something valuable, because clearly him losing a job didn't really mean anything to him, didn't really turn him away from those vices. It could be a myriad of different things. Oh my gosh. Also, I forget to mention, him doing this all in one take, that takes so much work to do. The only time I ever did a one-take video, because there was rapping and also singing, is I literally was sitting in a chair, and I just did one shot where I stood to do the singing and stuff, but then I sat down and took on a different demeanor to do the rapping. But that still took like an hour or so, because if you miss one little thing, it's like, okay, well, am I just going to assume the audience can roll with it, or am I going to try and pronunciate everything perfectly? But even more so, we've seen him just play live and just do something live and just go through it. I can't even imagine how much time this guy, even when he had his health struggles, right? And he had nothing but time to when he wasn't struggling with trying to get over the constant pain that he was in, right? Other than that, you have nothing but time. I still can't imagine the amount of time he went through to learn all this stuff, to be able to play it in one go. Incredible.
Prison deep in alcoholism, 40% proof, no juice. Inhibition get loose by decision and taboos. When we're living for the booze, who's who he lose himself to? One too many, 1, 2, 3 shots down. Drown.
Okay, so he's doing a lot of great wordplay right there. So getting loose with the booze, that kind of thing. A few shots down, 1, 2, you know, like shots from a gun, but then also shots, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's what's getting him loose. That's what's getting him, that way. And then he, again, takes time to just be like, okay, by the way, this is what I mean. And that's such a great thing for longer songs, too, to kind of flip it up a little bit and almost draw your audience back in,
Two, he lose himself to 1, too many, 1, 2, 3 shots down. Drown those sorrows up in London town. If we in for a penny, we in for a pound. Fate comes full circle. Now it's Vinny boys round.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Richard was the cop, right? So it's his tale. It's this side of things. He was the guy that took out or knocked down Vinny, or Vincent, at least. Vinny, yeah.
Sirens start singing as the screws murder silence. Stand on my Miranda, my right to remain violent. One man's resistance is another man's tyrant. When tyrants make the law, they go to war with non-compliance.
So I've been watching a lot of police body cam footage and a collection of between guys like Leon Lush and different VTubers reacting to the chaos of police intervention, right? And it's always basically so many people choosing to be argumentative about what they're doing, basically being upset that they have any sort of police intervention going on. Why can't you just give me another shot? Why can't you just let me walk away? When really, as most of us figured out, hey, if you go with the yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir, here's my information, things can go really well. But a lot of people just want to argue and just be like, well, but why? Why did you do this? Well, no, why should I have to do this? Just complaining about every little part of it. And it's taken so many instances of what could have been a warning, a ticket, a simple violation to a felony. So I feel like it's just so funny that he's saying one man's, resistance is another man's attempt to, break away from the chains of defiance and all these other things. In your head, when you really feel like what you're doing is totally fine and these people have no right to stop you or tell you what to do, then in your head it can seem like you are totally in the right and everyone else is wrong.
Since is another man's tyrant. When tyrants make the law, they go to war with non-compliance. Locked up, Vinny been locked up since his mother knocked up. Kitty grew up fast, pulled his socks up, chop chop. Keep that credit top. Time is money, tick tock. Quantify the price upon your soul and then it's chop shop. Not particularly special, Vinny spent his life a vessel for the musings of the devil. Repetition caused some issues, turned the hide into a jackal. Building pressure in the kettle, bubble up to boiling level.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, so first of all, having this actually be in a police car is so cool. I love that stuff. There was even this one VTuber, Barry Crape, that, because they switched over to the camera in the back of the squad car, and it's like, it's got a fisheye lens, and this guy was yelling at the camera and was like, ah, and she was like, dude, doesn't this look like an MTV music video? That would be so fun to be in the back of a car, just be like rapping at it or something. And I was like, you got a point. Anyway, when they're saying, hey, Vinny wasn't really that special, but he was susceptible to the musings of the devil. Idle hands are the devil's workshop, but then also if you're just not really pushing for anything in life, it can be very easy for you to go in an appropriate way, right? On the flip side, he was saying that turned Hyde into Jekyll. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, him turning into, or actually not turning into Hyde, but having that negativity come out in its own way, right? But turning Hyde into Jekyll, he had this negative life, but he was able to turn himself into a somewhat decent guy. But because that negativity was still there, it was just boiling up like a kettle until you burst and did something that you shouldn't have. That's what happens when you don't have anything to live for. You don't have any functional relationships to help you out. You don't talk to anybody about the things that you're struggling with. So then, of course, you're going to get stuck in not knowing how to handle the negativity that you have until it comes out as something that you shouldn't do.
Issues turned the hide into a jackal, building pressure in the kettle, bubble up to boiling level. Ooh man, he's a mad lad, falling on the warpath. Vinny split the atom like a Nagasaki bloodbath. Skies are raining black ash, copper car lights flash. Red and blue kaleidoscope, some folks don't like that. Never mind, just a victim of society. The one that serves you alcohol and sells you your sobriety. The one that sells you sex as it pedestals virginity. The one where we elect these lying pests with God ability.
So he's done a lot to look at how there is a lot of ways that society kind of sells you the disease and then sells you the cure, offers you the disease, I should say, and sells you the cure, gives you constant options to, have alcohol, do whatever, and then also sells you, oh, well, you should get into this program. You should do this thing. You should take this pill. You should do these things. Ren's been given the short end of the stick. There's no doubt about it. I still feel like he has done more than enough to, even though he has grievances and even though he talks about continued issues in society that still perpetuate these kinds of things, to not act like that's all there is, right? Because he has encountered good doctors, he's encountered good friends, he's encountered good situations. He's clearly doing well with himself right now, not blowing his money on cars and all these other things. He has got a good head on his shoulder, right? So I think there still is this distance in a storytelling function where he's saying, hey, it's not his fault, it's society's fault because they're the ones perpetuating all these negative things. What do you think Vinny's going to do? It's a crazy thing to think about because there are a lot of people because of mental faculties or because of their past that can get wrapped up in that stuff, and they might not even know that there was another option, or they might not have the strength to better themselves.
1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 1, our boy spun his own web-fed tarantulas come like 9 to the 9 to the 9 through his crimes timelines intersect. Richard's fate was designed.
Ooh, nice.
Just set the scene, it's 2019. Richard and a boy named Screech. The hands of fate, they touch and read. Siblings buried, blood it bleeds. Etched in Richard's memories. Falls a model, troubled sleep. Takes a time of absently. Hitting the bottle just...
Okay, wait. Literally, my brain stopped working because he was talking about Screech. I forgot, was Vincent actually Screech? Or are we going all the way back to the lady and Screech? I forgot what her name was. Oh my gosh, my brain is forgetting the Ren lore.
Richard and a boy named Screech. The hands of fate, they touch and read. Siblings buried, blood it bleeds. Etched in Richard's memories. Falls a model, troubled sleep. Takes a time of absently. Hitting the bottle to soften the blow. In the walls of yourself and there's nowhere to go. When his friends on the force, they don't call, they don't struggle. To therapy, raggedy seem to plateau. When his popo went loco and woe so low that his mojo no mo, no rebound, no yo-yo. And so the time it moves slow-mo, you see the case.
Okay, so losing your mojo, emotions moving like a yo-yo up and down, things moving slow-mo, you were no-show to therapy, all these different things. Basically, there were opportunities to better yourself, but you did not take them. And from that, all this negativity happens. It worsens, it deepens.
Was never closed cause the motive was confusing. Orphan killed his sister but his sister was removed when the mother died in childbirth, but dying womb life brings. The cycle of samsara always was quite amusing. Brother killed his sister but the record seemed to show the brother never met his sister, didn't even know. So the tragedy was a catastrophe, a fate fucked up. Rich just losing sleep while his whole family's talk.
So he basically was accused of something he never committed. He never met his sister because of stuff that had happened, but that's interesting. Huh. Well, so I think he just, the point was made that it was a situation where he was done wrong, and that sort of set him off on a negative path. Nice table.
The 5 stages of grief is a common psychological model, often used to provide reassurance to all those stricken by loss. For loss comes with a cost like frostbite, shockingly cold, paving the road to decomposure, decomposing your soul. 1. Denial.
So, wait. Did he mention the 5 stages of grief during his Sick Boy song? Was that what the nurse was saying at the beginning of the song? I'm curious. Comment below 5 stages of grief if you got this far.
Pretending for a while, reality retired, but everything is changing. Richie lost the will to smile. How to reconcile when murdering a child. The 2nd stage is anger, feel it bubbling the bile. Anger, damn the man that served the hand that wrote the plan. If God is will that's good and grand, then damn we are. We all are damn forsaken by creation. Revelations Richard cannot stand. The 3rd stage is bargaining, begging God for second chance.
Yeah, so going through those phases of this was this thing that happened to me and it was wrong. And if God is so good, then why would this situation happen? Well, that's a common tactic, and it's a common logical question, and it makes sense in some cases. Even those of us who have faith have those questions. The only thing is it doesn't really, it's not quite a full-fledged argument, because it presumes that there's no value in a struggle. It presumes a nature of God that goes against actually what God is about. He's not about making everything okay. He's about helping you through the struggle. And the question is, it's not about whether or not God could just solve everything and make everything better. It's about whether or not that's actually the best situation. And on the flip side, if God were out of the picture, people would still die stillborn. Kids would still have cancer. Addiction would still be a thing. We just wouldn't have someone to look to be like, well, why aren't you fixing this? That's not what his character is, though. And that's where a lot of people just don't want to think about that. They don't want to believe that that's anything worth clinging on to and being like, okay, I might not understand why this is happening to me, but I want to trust you in this to give me strength to get out of it. So
Revelations, Richard cannot stand the third stage is bargaining, begging God for second chance. Lord, I know it is a reach, but I'm begging on my knees. Resurrect the boy James, resurrect the boy Screech. Oh, the
I'm sorry, I just had to notice he crossed himself incorrectly. You go top, down, I think it's right, then left. I just know it's top, down, and then shoulders. So for him to do top, left, right, bottom, I think that actually plays into what he was talking about with like, God, I know this is a reach. I don't even know how to cross myself. I've been out of church for a little bit. I feel like that kind of adds to that, which is cool.
Devote my life to thee, I will live a life of peace. Stage 4 is depression, that's a lesson taught in grief. Depression, demonic like possession, that feeds upon this spark for life. No water is refreshing, no sunlight brings him warmth, no sleep will ever bring resting. His guilt and doubt are oh so loud, the silence sounds so deafening.
Oof. And now, obviously, he's done so much with his inner rhyme schemes and being able to rhyme really well, but I love that analogy of no water can quench your thirst, no sun can give you warmth, no sleep can make you feel rested. As someone who's dealt with depression, if you've ever dealt with depression, you know how that is. Literally nothing makes you feel better. It's crazy.
Depression, the numbing of expression, the negative obsession, ruminating in oppression. Stressing is a lesson when your mind begins reflecting. That's stage number 5. 5 is acceptance.
And it's positive. He's doing better. Yay. Ooh, and Ren's behind him. Okay.
Souls get shaken up. The road's never quite ideal, but slow rise, dust it off. And let me tell you something, Richie, man, I'm proud, cause you pulled a stitch from the seam, the wound was open weeping. Felt like a regression, but that flesh was set for healing. You wrestled imperfections, misdirections, what with demons. Most demons are a fallen angel, truth has double meanings. Perspective.
Ooh, well, so I like how, okay, I'm just assuming we're going to have a negative spin on this, but him actually saying, hey, I'm proud of you. You know, you pulled at this wound, you pulled at the stitch, and it was set for being able to actually fix it up. You decided to be open about it, and that wound was set for healing. You did the steps to actually better yourself, and look, positive change. I would like to think that that is the case for most of us, that you actually can find healing. It just feels so insurmountable in our heads before we start that process.
If this connects to trauma, trauma turns to lessons. The biggest curse you'll ever face could be your greatest blessing. Remember, in the darkest times, no need for second guessing. No path is ever linear, a stumble leads to stepping. You're a soldier, a scholar of life's sorrow, and day follows day. There will always be tomorrow when it gets colder. Whatever, it's only weather. Rain feeds the crops, let them grow, think clever. I'm so fucking proud of you, Richie, my boy. I know you're itchy, my boy, to get to work and deploy. Serve and protect my don, in for the right reason. I know you think you've done wrong, but look at who you become. It's your first day at work, big man.
I'm scared.
Hold that head up high, my friend. Come on.
I'm scared.
We're all proud
I'm
of you,
scared.
Richie.
I'm
I
so
hope you
scared.
get out there and smash it. I mean, what could go wrong?
Yeah, what could go wrong? I'm so scared. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah, so that was his first day of work, and that was him fighting Screech way back when. Oh my gosh. That's interesting. Wow. I do think that that sentiment that Ren shared at the end was still a good thing to take away from it. That, hey, you know what? Gosh, we all have stuff that we battle with. And it might just be around for a while. But sometimes your greatest curse can be your biggest blessing. There can be some ways that this negativity you carry with yourself can actually prove to be beneficial. I mean, it's not a curse, in the conventional sense. Of course, it might feel that way, but like, there's a lot of comedians that have ADHD. There's a lot of comedians that have depression, right? It's because of their fine awareness around the world around them and how they feel that they're able to kind of quick-wittedly figure out jokes and these things and how to interact with people and da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? But that's just my thought. Man, this was incredible, though. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. Yeah, this is really, really cool. Obviously, link to this is going to be in the description. Go support Ren. That's all I got to say about that.